The reason I picked this topic, which is Trump's family, is because thinking back on the last 500 days, obviously there are many things that everyone, or almost everyone's upset about that I could talk about. But this is the area where I feel like I'm asymptotically more angry than other people. His family somehow makes me more, because it feels, I think the nepo-ness of it or the corruption of it bothers me. So I wanted to look into specifically his two sons, Don Jr. and Eric. And when you look at how their net worth and financial situation has changed in just 500 days, it is unprecedented in any presidential family history. They have gone from being moderately wealthy, millionaires to near billionaires. Combined, they're over $1 billion in, again, 500 days. And Reagan, in 2021, after January 6th, Don Jr. was doing cameos for $500. And now he is on the Forbes list of billionaires, largely through abusing the connections that he has through his father. And there's many ways I can go through this. I mean, people have talked about they've made massive investments in drone companies, which then the Pentagon buys a bunch of drones from their companies. They make a bunch of money. We can talk about World Liberty Financial, which is the single largest financial aspect of this, which is that they own or are heavy investors in a stable coin called USD1. And it wasn't doing that well. It wasn't a very successful stablecoin company compared to the other stablecoin examples. And then the UAE mysteriously put $2 billion into World Liberty Financial. And then 2 weeks later, they get a clearance to buy chips they weren't allowed to buy before. And it was like just a weird coincidence that they just happened to pick this stable coin and then happened to get this huge release that they wouldn't have before, which again was blocked because there was a chance they might sell those chips to the Chinese, which there's reports they are doing. That's happened. So it's there's a clear systemic corruption there. By the way, this is a good piece of reporting. I just want to point out that people analyzed the UAE deal to try and find out, is there any reason they would have made this? And there really is no financial reason, it's like similar to it reminds me of, you guys know the Kawhi Leonard aspiration fake tree. It's like, oh yeah, you can't find any reason they're going to pay Kawhi Leonard this much money to plant trees. And so obviously there's no other reason for it. And I think this is what tracks to that. But I wanted to go into a more recent example. This just happened. This is Vulcan Elements. And I think this story crystallizes what's happening over and over and over again this first 500 days. So Vulcan Elements is a company that refines rare earth metals in America. Now, we've done episodes before about how important that is because China controls the whole rare earth supply chain. And everyone's like, fuck, we have to get out from under their thumb on this. Magnets and jets and everything goes through China. And so Vulcan Elements is one of the hundreds of companies that have popped up to try and help fill this demand because there's a lot of urgency. And Vulcan Elements recently won a massive Pentagon deal. They got a huge amount, they have multiple millions of dollars, and they can finally expand. And when you look into how Vulcan Elements got chosen over hundreds of other companies, it comes back to this guy, Peter Navarro. They gave him a $620 million loan and a contract to buy what they make. So they basically funded the company and gave it a client, which is like instant success. And it was only founded 2 years ago. Of the dozens of companies the Pentagon was considering funding, Vulcan was the only one initiated by a top aide to the president. Who was that top aide? It was a guy named Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro, seen here on Triggered, Don Jr.'s podcast, talking about how he's my boy, my good friend. These guys are close friends. Peter Navarro was an advisor to the president who constantly mentions rare earth metals. I think I have a clip from Triggered.
What a banger name, huh?
China has revealed itself with this rare earth issue as a country which is using the weaponization of their manufacturing
Don Jr. looks really interested.
Their supply chains to exert pressure, not just on the United States, but to every other country.
So look, Peter Navarro rants about it on here. They're talking about it. Then all of a sudden, of the hundreds of companies, the one that Don Jr. is heavily, heavily invested in suddenly is fast-tracked through the Pentagon. Now, you can talk to, let's see if we can get the insiders here. They say that he had no involvement in the record-setting deal, but look, Peter Navarro comes in and asks them to move at an unusually rapid pace. The staff worked late nights and with little sleep to get the loan through in a matter of weeks. The call came from the White House, we have to get this done. So this one company gets forced through, and all of a sudden it's generationally more valuable than it was before, and Don Jr. owns a massive percentage of it, making him more fabulously wealthy overnight. And you can find examples like this over and over again with drones, with rare earth, with crypto, with any sort of tech where the government's big pot of money is spent on something that's strategically important. It goes to a company that Don Jr. or Eric has invested in before it happens. Following the trail here, it's like they can say no, this is not part of the process every time. But when it happens again and again, it seems like there has to be a connection. And so I ended with this quote. On January 8th of this year, the New York Times interviewed Trump and they asked him why so many more of his family members are involved financially in White House and government and Pentagon dealings in his second term than in his first term. And he said in his first term, he found out that nobody cared and I'm allowed to. I prohibited them from doing business in my first term and I got no credit for it. I didn't have to do that and it's really unfair to them.
It's really unfair to his family.
It's unfair to his family that they can't get involved in all these deals of government money. And now, since nobody cared, he can do it.
Dude,
And
I was literally hoping you'd pull this quote out. So awesome.
it is kind of fucking wild. I think that just sums up nobody cared and I'm allowed to is like the sentence that describes the second term more than anything else to me.
Okay, here's my beef, right?
What's your beef?
We get uptight about this, and I understand why somebody might be upset, but I feel like the animosity towards this type of corruption is so one-sided. Like in 2015, Malia Obama was selling F-35s back to the government, and nobody said a word.
In the schoolyard.
In the schoolyard.
Yeah.
And it's like, do we pick and choose?
That's true.
Who to blame?
No, it's funny. So on a more real level of your example, you actually sent me a great graph on this. People have talked about the Hunter Biden laptop scandal and his dealings in Europe using his connections with his family. And there's some shadiness there and it's worth looking into. But when you add it all up, it's in the tens of millions. I don't remember the
It
exact.
wasn't even 10 million. It was like 5. It was like 5.
It's 20.
Okay, it's 20.
Well, so let me rephrase that.
Sorry, it depends.
With the Hunter, so with the Hunter Biden thing, the House Republicans made this big argument against him, right? And they're like, we think Hunter Biden was basically getting all these business dealings because his dad was vice president, and maybe Joe Biden was aware of this and was giving favors in return, but that part's unconfirmed. And it was basically he was getting like $50,000 a month being on some random boards, and their accusation is he made over $20 million from foreign business deals. So at the worst, from the Republican argument, is Hunter Biden made $20 million and Joe Biden might have been a part of it, but we have no proof.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the graph that you showed,
just Trump coin alone
Yes.
scammed our poor friend Ludwig out of 97% of his money. They made hundreds of millions of dollars just from rug pulling people off of that.
Yeah.
I think it was each was like hundreds of
Yeah,
millions. But that's like, okay, the other thing I looked into, just because we're talking about comparisons, I'm like, what is another comparison? Do you guys, I get angry just thinking about it. My ass tote is also like what you said, okay? The Teapot Dome scandal. You remember that shit?
No.
God, that fucking sucked. In 1922, you remember how Interior Secretary Albert F. Fall gave land oil rights to private companies without competitive bidding in exchange for bribes?
That fuck! Yeah, I remember that. I was pissed off.
I was pissed then and I'm pissed now.
I don't remember that because
Teapot Dome.
I'm young and energetic and I have a whole life ahead of me.
Yeah,
I had just turned 45 and I was like, this Teapot Dome thing is pissing me off.
I remember the towers falling. I remember
Yep.
Albert Fall making, and to be clear, the total gifts and bribes he got was about $9 million in today's dollars. And that is, quote, regarded as one of the greatest and most sensational scandals in the history of American politics
like
by historian
Tuesday,
Robert
bro.
Cherney. So this is one of the biggest scandals ever, and it's in 1922, and it's $9 million in today's money of bribes for a private company.
Yeah.
They are eclipsing that by like 1,000.
No, so
I guess
the
about
graph that we
100,
saw
500.
was all of Hunter Biden's plotted. And then they were like, okay, let's go bigger. Let's go Nancy Pelosi's husband, which is considered to be, he has probably some insider access.
Yeah.
And so they took everything he's made. Let's assume every single trade he's ever done is corrupt since 1974 or whatever. Every trade in his life. Okay, so that was like, I don't know, 80 million, whatever. It was a much bigger number than the Hunter Biden number. And then they plotted what the Trump family has made off of crypto and these dealings in this 1 year. And you couldn't see them on the graph anymore. It was such a tiny sliver. I mean, $1 billion versus $1 million is so astronomically bigger. I think the example they had, the amount they made in these 500 days is greater than the profit of, 2 times greater than the profit of Starbucks in the same time. I mean, it's going to like 4 or 5 people who are in his family. It's an astronomical level of difference, and it's coming so fast.
I have a counter argument. Maybe they're just better than us.
Maybe they're
very talented businessmen.
You know what? I'll give you that. Maybe they're the greatest businessmen of all time. Why are they so much greater when he's in office? Why are they seemingly bad at being great businessmen when he's not in office? And then they suddenly just hit their fucking stride right when he gets into power. That's the weird part.
Late bloomers.
Well, because
they weren't swagging out in the first term.
Maybe their dad inspired them. You know what I'm saying? It's like dad's working hard.
Dad works so hard.
I need to work
He's so
hard, too.
old and he works so hard still.
Success isn't linear. A lot of books about this. You got to work hard and then suddenly you see you succeed.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm
like when my YouTube channel went from 500 views a video to 500,000 in 1 week.
Yeah.
It's like it blew up early 2019.
That was when your father ran YouTube, right?
Yeah, but those are coincidences. Yeah. And I worked really hard at that. But also Hillary's emails.
Let's
move on.
No, well, let's never move on from that because that's the biggest scandal of all time.
Do you have more here?
No, that was basically, I mean, broadly, I think his kids are very openly and nakedly abusing their access to the president to make a lot of money. And that's frustrating.
Okay, I think
it's almost more frustrating than Trump to me. I don't know why.
Not that I think this is necessarily defensible, but there's more ambiguity in investing in a company that is like producing an output or a service that the government is using to accomplish something. Yeah. Not saying there's nothing wrong here.
No, I just want to push back a little bit in that it's like all of the companies they're investing in are companies that only make their money from government contracts. It's not like they're like thriving businesses that then do a government deal. It's like they're getting the funding to build the factories that don't exist yet, and then they're getting purchase orders from the government. So it's kind of a direct transfer of taxpayer money to them using strategic goals like rare earths and drones, which are important. But are these really the best companies for those jobs, or are they the ones most connected to Trump's family?
I would say almost certainly not.